Plat.
PlayStation Plus.
PlayStation Plus. It's that classic thing where we say, "Oh, I got all these free games, but we are paying for them with our
Yeah,
subscription."
PlayStation Plus is everyone's favorite paid free service that
Yeah.
everyone complains about when it's not the exact game they want, or it's not like Ghost of Tsushima a week after its release. The one
Yeah.
that everyone fools themselves into thinking is actually free, but it's just to help swallow that bitter pill of having to pay for online gaming when it was free in the PS3 generation. Is that? I think that's a pretty succinct summary
Yeah.
of PlayStation Plus. But in fairness, the fact that Sony have kept it going this long, when it definitely started as like a wait, we have to pay for online.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
fact they've kept it going this long is actually, like pretty admirable. And to be fair, like when you look back on the year, there were some fairly solid games. So
Yeah.
with the kind of recent rumors, I suppose, of what we said, Plat Chum's first hot like the game when we were talking about they should like weld PlayStation Now and PlayStation Plus together to form like one
Yeah.
big super service. It kind of seems like that's becoming a thing.
Yeah.
So kind
Yeah.
of
This is exciting to see what it's
So
going to look
maybe
like. But
who knows in the coming year 2022, like will PlayStation Plus still be, the service it's been for like well over a decade at this point, right? Like it's been like
yeah, I'm trying to remember.
9 years.
Yeah.
Um,
Trying to remember
but
when.
it's gone largely unchanged in that time. So we thought we'd have a very quick discussion about like PlayStation Plus this year. Like I actually think this year was the most I played the PlayStation Plus titles, and there were some ones that like appealed to me greatly. So
Yeah.
Resident Evil 7, Concrete Genie, and
Yeah.
Control Ultimate Edition.
Yeah. They're three
And
great games. Like.
three very good games that I was like looking to buy anyway. So that alone was, saving the guts of, like €100 anyway.
Yeah.
And then, like there was Days Gone in April, which, I owned it already, but I mean, that's kind of like a big Sony first party exclusive, maybe like the B tier, but it's still like, one of the big kind of games. And
Yeah.
Hitman 2 as well, which I collected and will play. So yeah, like you probably played a bit more of them than me. So like what were your kind of thoughts this year, and what you hope for the coming year with it?
Yeah, just a quick rundown. So I played Maneater, got the platinum for that in January. Then the platinum for Control and Concrete Genie from February, which was
Yeah,
great.
February was a great month.
Very, very good.
Concrete Genie actually. Sorry for interrupting you, but Concrete Genie
No,
was
no.
kind of the PlayStation Plus at its best. I think that
Yeah.
February last year was like the perfect example of like what it can do. It doesn't need to do every single month. I feel like that's the thing. It's unrealistic to expect it to be like this huge AAA game every single month. But
Yeah.
that month was like a game that I had my eye on for ages, that had
Yeah.
a lot of kind of like acclaim and kind of hype behind it and control. And then there was just like a game that I would not have even attempted or even looked or even noticed unless it was
Yeah.
on PlayStation Plus. So I feel like the service is at its absolute best when it's like a big kind of well regarded AA or AAA game, and then like a little indie game just thrown in alongside it.
Yeah.
I feel
Absolutely.
like it was just like the perfect example of like how good the service can be.
Yeah. That was a particularly good month. Definitely. Like Control was a game that, I suppose, especially having the PS5, getting to play the Ultimate Edition with all the DLC, like that was very generous. I think they often give you a game without the DLC, and then you pay for the DLC, which is like a good business model,
It's
I
like you
suppose.
get the first hit free, like
Yeah, yeah.
But I
Control
think
was very good. Yeah,
like the first quarter of the month, like from January up as far as April, was like stellar. I mean, like the first month was Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and then
yeah,
February was, as we mentioned, Control and Concrete Genie. But then March was like a heavy hitter as well, like Final Fantasy VII and Remnant from the Ashes.
yeah.
Like
And
that's
I got the platform Maquette as well, which came out that month, and that was really good puzzle game. Like I really enjoyed that, and it was a day and date release game, so it came out that day. So they did quite a lot of that this year, where they released games with the PlayStation Plus, which is,
Yeah,
again
that was the
is
new kind
admirable
of
too.
thing. That was a new
Yeah,
thing I noticed this year. Where
I,
they were like really well. I guess Rocket League was probably like the earliest example of that.
yeah, that was great. Yeah, that was
But
really
that
good.
that paid huge dividends. So like
Yeah,
it's kind of like PlayStation Plus. Could that become like a weird variant of like the Xbox Game Pass, where like occasionally games get released on it, or would they be incorporated into the PlayStation Now service? Like
mm,
it's kind of hard to tell because like Sony have kind of spread a few different seeds, and I do think it needs to be streamlined. In fairness, like one just
yeah, they need to make their minds up, I think.
yeah, but
I didn't play anything in April because I already had the platinum for Days Gone, but I wasn't into Zombie Army 4 or Oddworld. I didn't play either of those.
mhm,
May, I played Wreckfest on the
mhm.
PS5, which was good fun. Um, for June,
June was a month that like I guess if you're into side scroll beat 'em ups, but like Virtua Five is like it's a big title again. Um, and like Battlefield 5 was in May, so like like the first half of this year, it was like you'd get something that would appeal to everyone. The
yeah,
only thing, yeah, go
I
on.
didn't play Operation Tango because I didn't have anyone to play it with. But now you have the PlayStation 5, so we can play that together. That'll be good.
Yes,
Yeah. July, A Plague Tale for the PS5. That was
that pissed
a
me off
big
though.
game.
That
Yeah,
that pissed
did
me
it?
off.
Yeah.
Like I thought that was a very bizarre choice to only give the newer PS5 edition and not the PS4 version. I
Mm,
thought that was strange. Now
a
like
bit strange. Yeah.
I actually like the first game I bought on the PS5 store, which is just so slick. It's so slick compared to the
Yeah.
PS4. It was a Plague Tale Innocence. I got it for like €10
Mm,
because I didn't get around to claiming it.
mm-hmm.
But yeah, like that was an odd one
An
from
odd one.
Sony's
Yeah.
part. In fairness,
Well, I do think there's like it's they have to negotiate with the developer or the publisher to like figure out what they're going to give them. Are they going to be super generous or whatever? But
I think it's
um,
way more generous to give the PS5 version.
yeah,
Then again, maybe
it's
less
a
people
funny
can
one.
claim it. It's a funny one. It's a
It
funny one.
is, yeah. I didn't play anything in August. Hunters Arena, Legends, Plants vs Zombies, Battle for Neighborville, and Tennis World 2. Wouldn't have much interest in those. Although I did like Plants vs Zombies when it first came out.
Yeah, I remember
Um,
you playing that.
September was a pretty good year, a good month
Yeah,
again with
Hitman 2.
Overcooked. Yeah, and Hitman
Hitman
2.
2 was like the kind of game that like I think occasionally might need the little bump up it gets from being on PlayStation Plus because Hitman like it's such an odd franchise where it's so well known within the gaming community, but
Mm.
it's never truly reflected in its sales. Like it's legendary,
Yes, yeah. It's
but it
semi
always
niche then. Yeah.
yeah, but it always just seems to kind of struggle along, even though like Hitman 1 like that 2018 or was it 2016 was it 20 Hitman 2016 like that was such a like a beautifully made game. Now like there is a lot to be said for the fact that it was a bit more there was a bit more hand holding in it compared to like Blood Money contracts and Hitman 2.
Mhm.
But then you could argue it's like look it's there for people that want to use that, where like you can just select a target or like a way of killing them, and it's kind of like gives you checkpoints of how to execute that that
Okay.
kill.
I haven't
Um,
played any Hitman since Absolution, so
yeah, no,
um,
it's definitely worth picking up. I probably suggest, like it's a hell of a lot, but Hitman 3 with all the expansions,
mm,
because you get all three games, and
yeah,
Hitman 1 doesn't have a platinum.
yeah. I think that always put me off a little bit because I was like, okay, let's all come out in like weird DLCs, and there was like 100 DLCs.
Hitman 2 is
Um,
the messiest trophy list though in history, so that's the only thing I'll say. Like from plat
okay.
chums to viewers, it's a messy trophy list, especially with like the Hitman 1 DLC
Yeah,
included in it.
that's really
It's
strange. Yeah,
mental, and there's like 100 and something trophies. Like
yeah.
Yeah, so maybe it's a good thing to avoid it.
October was Hell Let Loose, which was a World War II sim shooter FPS. That was a day and date release as well.
Mm-hmm.
PGA Tour, and then Mortal Kombat 10.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a big game for Mortal Kombat 10 to come out there.
It was, yeah.
And that was so, but like I suppose anyone who had the PlayStation Plus collection had that anyway.
The PlayStation Plus collection was like, I forgot it was a thing. So I just got the PS5, and I was looking through the store for the first time. I saw that Crash Bandicoot was free.
Yeah.
Or it was, and I'm like, what is that? Is that on PlayStation Plus this month? But I'm like, wait, it's the 29th of December. The new games aren't up. And then I completely forgot that that instant game collection was a thing. Like I claimed like digital versions of, like Uncharted 4 and The Last Guardian and like Persona 5, just in case.
Yeah.
But like, my God, if you weren't on board with Sony on the PS4 generation, you come with the PS5 and get yourself a PlayStation Plus subscription, and you get access to that back catalog. It's insane.
It's kind of the best of, like, it's pretty good. November was Knockout City First Class Trouble, which again was a day and date release.
Mm-hmm.
Kingdoms Amalur, which is a game that I really want to play. I haven't played that yet, but
Knockout City, wasn't it, in November?
Knockout City was the dodgeball kind of
I thought
multiplayer game
that might replicate the success of Rocket League.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a great game. I haven't played it myself. And then they gave you 3 VR games: The Persistence, Walking Dead, and Until You Fall. I haven't played any of those again because of my disdain for the leads of the VR. But it was a good month, like I think that Walking Dead game is supposed to be really good in terms of VR games. I've seen footage of it, which looks pretty cool. First Class Trouble didn't pull me in. It looks like, I suppose it's trying to capitalize maybe on like Among Us, that kind of sus, person.
You.
Yeah. And then to end off December, we got a really weird PS5 game with the Godfall Challenger Edition, which was like half the game that no one wanted to play. Godfall was probably the lowest rated PS5 game that came out.
The year ended on a whimper. Like, for me, from kind of after Hitman 2, nothing really would appeal to me. But that's the thing with PlayStation Plus. It strikes gold for you.
Well, I was going to say the opposite, that Mortal Shell was probably my favorite PS Plus game of the year. In December, I loved it so much. It was one of those games that they didn't give you the DLC.
It, so I could be in my words if I go to buy Mortal Shell at a later date. So
yeah, you can get the enhanced version for it's a good deal for the PS5 anyway. This was the PS4 version. Didn't give you the PS5 one, but it was always on my radar, that game, because I thought it looked really cool. I was kind of waiting to pick it up, and I always thought, I felt like it was going to be a PS Plus game as well. And it came out. I played the DLC. Probably, I'd say that and Remnant were my 2 favorite games of the year for the PS Plus. I think I'd reverberate what you said. I think it was definitely a bit of an up and down year overall, but I think we got like some really quality games, and I probably got like the guts of 20 platinums from it, 10 to 21.
That's a great return. That's almost like a platinum or 2 over a platinum a month.
Yeah.
So would you have any bold predictions for PlayStation Plus? I would say, like, anything that's on the instant game collection right now is fair game.
I got 9 of the platinums. Sorry, so a little bit. I was a little bit.
Great. I thought 20 was
when I said 20, I suppose I was a little overly excited. But I suppose, like, to get 9 free games that I was like willing to platinum is pretty good. And like, I could have played a few others there, like Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I probably should have played that because I wanted to. I definitely am going to get around to Kingdoms of Amalur, and then there was obviously some crossover with games that I already owned, which is always going
Yeah.
to happen. But I think overall, like, for the subscription, I always feel like it's worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Just even the excitement of like kind of finding out what's out next month, even
Yeah.
that
And
is
I
nearly
remember
worth it.
like I distinctly remember having Control in my cart, and I was so close to buying it. Um, and then I don't know what happened. I think like the connection timed out, so I just wasn't able to purchase it. And then the next day it was on PlayStation Plus, so I'm just
Yeah.
like, well, that was a freebie. That was a freebie.
I've
Um,
heard that you can call Sony up if that happens and they might give you a refund. Now, I don't know, is that true?
saves me the hassle of a phone call, man.
Yeah,
Saves
true. And if you've ever tried to call Sony support, at least where we are, one day I was waiting for an hour and 45 minutes before someone answered the phone, and they finally answered. And I was at work and I just left it on the desk ringing, and it was like, we're the next available advisor will speak to you shortly. And I was just sitting there going like, maybe there is no one there because it's been an hour and 40 minutes. And then someone answered and they were absolutely lovely and they sorted it straight away. It was perfect. Great support. But maybe they have a staffing shortage. I don't know.
great
Um,
support, but you wouldn't count on them in a life and death situation.
yeah, it was a bit of a long time to wait, but yeah, regardless, good service generally. Anytime I do speak to them, actually, funny, I'll just say that I have had to have two PS5 controller replacements this year,
That makes me nervous.
under warranty. So I would say if there's a game, this is the Platchum's tip of the day of the week.
Tip of the
If
week.
if you're playing a game on the PS5 and it demands that you pull the back two triggers very, very often and fast, I would recommend remapping the button to one of the maybe the front facing buttons, or even switch the L2 and R2, or sorry, L1 and L2 buttons, for example, because whatever way the trigger is, it doesn't feel as robust as the PS4
It's
controller.
probably because there's so much technology packed in that with the haptic
Yeah.
feedback.
So I just for anyone, both times my controllers broke when I was playing a game that required a lot of R2 triggering trigger
makes you nervous.
use.
Like that's
Yeah.
actually why like everyone's saying, oh, you can play all your PS4 games and the PS5, faster load times. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna keep that sucker fresh and for
Yeah.
Elden Ring. I'm
But
not gonna like.
you can use the PS4 controller on the PS5 for PS4 games. It won't work for PS5 games. It'll say you need a dual sense for this, but
Well,
you
you got a
can play
big.
the PS4. Yeah.
Well, I'm an idiot. there
So
goes that
no,
plan.
like I would recommend
Bizarre.
to play them on the PS5 because it's great fun. Like it's the loading times are so much different and things like that. But yeah, we really segued away from the PS Plus stuff.
Yeah,
PS
but
Plus 2021, pretty good year overall. I got 9 platinums, so I'm pretty happy with
I
that.
think I think it was excellent, and like my thoughts on it were like, look, it has to be amalgamated in with PlayStation now. I think,
Yeah.
um, but it's one of those things where look, they Sony have just kept it going so long, past the point of I think it's just normalized that you have to pay for online.
Yeah.
I feel like it's kind of any sort of aggression towards that implementation of fees for it, it's long gone. Like it's at this point, it's like, yeah, look, anyone coming up, teenager, early 20s, don't know anything else. So I think the
Mm-hmm.
fact that they've kept it going this long, to be fair, it's admirable because they could easily just like not have it and just charge the same for the
Yeah.
online service. So I think it was a great year, and it'll be very interesting. Like I think the main reason we're making this video is just I feel like it's going to be an interesting year for the service. I feel like with the
Mm.
PS5 kind of finding its feet now, it's going to be a hopefully like a hallmark year for the PS5,
Yeah.
um, where like it really starts to get some big titles on it. Um, it'll be interesting to see what they do with it. I do think they're going to shake it up,
Yeah.
and it might be the last full year that we see of PlayStation Plus in this kind of iteration. So, like, I don't
Yeah.
want to like write a eulogy for it because like we don't know. I'm only basing this on like pure hunch,
Yeah.
pure
Well,
hunch.
I think we're definitely going to, we know that there's going to be like a tiered system that's
Hmm.
coming out. So it's gonna be interesting to see what that looks like. Like I think for especially for someone sort of like someone like ourselves who like has a lot of history with Sony and PlayStation in general, it's going to be interesting to see, is the subscription, like say for any back catalog, going to be worth it for us,
Hmm.
or are they going to just really half arse it, and like it won't entice me. Like if
Yeah.
it's a good library of games, great, I'm in. If it's just PS Plus now as it is currently with PlayStation Plus, I'm saying no, thank you.
They
You
need to
know?
start getting the PS1, PS2. Like I've said that for years. Like PlayStation Now should be the legacy service.
Yeah,
I feel
yeah,
like there's no excuse anymore why, you can play PS2 games on the PS4, just emulation. Like
yeah,
Sony, I will criticize them all day for the way they've handled backwards compatibility. I know the PS3 is, we're going off on a tangent here, but I know the PS3 has its own cell architecture, which makes it,
yeah.
complicated. But I feel
And
like the
that's their
PS1 and the
fault.
PS2, it should be a thing where
Yeah, you
those are
can run those
playable.
games on a phone now, so
Yeah,
there's no
especially
excuse.
considering like I've bought digital versions of those
Yeah,
games, and I find it bizarre I couldn't play them on PS4,
yeah. And you'll
and
have to
they're
buy them
not playable
again.
on PS5. Yeah, but that's essentially it, and I feel like that's just not a good model in my opinion. And yeah, we'll kind of see where it goes, but maybe this could be the year that PlayStation Plus ends up in Astro's Playroom as an artifact.
Maybe just before we go, my bad luck story versus, or that turned into a good luck one about PlayStation Plus. I remember just seeing like every month I checked there was, what was released or whatever. It's like on the Wednesday before
Hmm.
the first Wednesday of the month, the last
Exciting
Wednesday of the
times,
previous month.
exciting times.
And I remember seeing the title, and it was like I was waiting for Mortal Shell to come out because I always felt like it was coming out. And I was like, it was like I saw the name and it was like Mortal, and I was like, oh, Mortal Shell, and then it was Mortal Kombat 10. I was like, oh no. But then Mortal Shell did come out in December, so it was a happy ending. Yeah, that's my
good, good
great
year,
story.
good year to be fans of games that have mortal in the title.
Yeah. So
There's one guy,
yeah,
that's me. But
that's me.
yeah, so here's to a good year of PlayStation Plus. I know you're probably beside me, but I'm just going to tickle you for luck for the new year.
Yeah.
Just high five, whatever.